Well, this is a very special interview that because you are the interviewer introduced by Start Me Up, which is the subsidiary of Invest Hong Kong. As most of us know, Invest Hong Kong is a department from the Hong Kong government. So they actually helps the overseas investor coming into Hong Kong to invest. So your company is actually registered overseas and you have built a operation office in Hong Kong. And can you tell us more about yourself and tell us more about your company, please?
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me. Good morning today. And I really appreciate this opportunity to be interviewed by you, and also thank Invest HK for having introduced us so that you can interview us. Let me start with introducing a little bit about myself, and then I will introduce a little bit about Buyhive. So myself, I've been for about 20 years in the sourcing and e-commerce space. I've worked for my last job was with Global Sources, which was a Nasdaq listed media company headquartered in Hong Kong that does trade shows, magazines, online, various platforms. I was the director of international for the Global Sources International. All of the businesses and all the country managers of Global Sources reported into me. So that's my background. But before that, I also worked for Intertech, which is one of the world's largest testing inspections company. I managed their social compliance business and launched their sourcing platform, TradeGood, in North America and Latin America. I was based in New York for that. I worked in London, I worked in Shanghai, I've worked in Taiwan, I worked in Mumbai. So I've lived and worked in multiple countries and cities around the world and managed people in multiple countries. My experience has been around helping large and medium-sized buyers find good quality suppliers. As you can see with coronavirus, what has happened is less and less people are able to travel for doing their sourcing activities. And because of that, it is becoming more and more critical that the kind of information that is provided on platforms or provided to buyers to make buying decisions has to be verified, qualified, and furthermore gone through the microscope so that they can make the right decisions. And this is something that we started thinking about in early 2019. We did not think coronavirus, we did not think Hong Kong protest, but somehow our timing was just about right. And that brings me into explaining a little bit about Buyhive.
Hi, Mr. Pore. So as you may know, I have worked with Alibaba.com in Hong Kong for a couple of months. Over those periods, I find that lots of Hong Kong buyers may not really interested using platform like that, like Alibaba, to do the sourcing, because a lot of credibility issues, the contact issue, that kind of things may happen. Also, on the other side, the manufacturer do not really want to join this kind of platform sometimes because they actually makes them look worse, not better. Even lots of people reached it. So it is why there are lots of new platform come in, like Buyhive, which is mainly for B2B purposes. But maybe you can tell us a bit more. What's the difference and how you break the traditional way of those kind of B2B platform? What kind of service you can provide instead of using those?
Thank you, Michael. This is really good. Because you work for the platforms like Alibaba, you can understand for Alibaba, the business model is around advertising revenue. Okay, it's the old school publishing revenue model, which is basically the advertisers who pay more are allowed to rank higher, right?
Yes.
And when something like that happens, when you allow those suppliers to pay you to rank higher, there is a conflict of interest. The salespeople in Alibaba or any of those platforms are going to try and are going to publish or promote those guys that pay higher, and they don't care if they're high quality, they're not high quality. So one of the first steps that we did with Buyhive is that we don't allow anybody to pay to rank. Ranking will come only and only because they have done good service.
Yes.
And they are completing their information up to our standards. The more the algorithm, the way that is built is the more they complete, the more information they update on a regular basis, their ranking gets higher.
Yes.
And that's where we bring the difference. And the other big difference is we select the suppliers by experienced sourcing people who know that industry. So if you are looking for, let's say, t-shirts,
right,
you want somebody who has worked in the t-shirt industry, who has bought t-shirts from multiple manufacturers, tell you who are the good suppliers. Not because this supplier advertised you and paid you $50,000 to advertise. No, it is only and only because they did a good job in the past with this particular freelancer who knows how to do it.
Yep.
Well, so that brings us to the Buyhive platform, which I built with my co-founders, who was one of the co-founders is the ex-CEO of Global Sources, and another is the CEO of the largest trading house in the gifts and premiums industry in Hong Kong called Headwind. Michael and Brent, these are my co-founders. Right. So we know the industry. Each of us has spent 20 years doing sourcing, having challenges, understood challenges, being on the side. I have been on the side where I was the one selling the advertising on the platforms like Global Sources. So I know the challenge. So what is the current market? Let me talk about the current market scenario for the retailers. There's a lot of retailers going out of business. Every day you see Zara is closing stores, Macy's is closing stores, John Lewis is still closing stores, and so on, so many others, right? You're seeing that in the news all the time.
Yes.
That means is that a lot of good quality sourcing people are getting jobless.
Yes.
Very good people. And Hong Kong has many of them in between the ages of 40 to 50. Not easy to employ anywhere else, but their skills are very useful. So these are the people that we have got available. The retail growth today is only and only coming from platforms. When I say platforms, it's platforms like Shopify and eBay and Amazon and all the others which are growing. And the growth is not coming from the big size retailers. It's coming from the small and medium sized players on those platforms. Yes. Okay. International sourcing trips are going to become harder and less economical. The cost of flying is getting higher. The traveling is risky. It is also a problem, a big problem, if any of these countries will start restricting China's visas or China starts restricting their visa. So this is a long-term problem that we are getting ourselves into. And then the problem comes, which is the lack of trust that we talked about, the lack of trust in Alibaba, the lack of trust in Global Sources and Made in China, because of their business model, which is billions of dollars of business, comes from advertising. So once you have that advertising money, you cannot be impartial. You cannot give the right information. You give information about the supplier that pays you highest.
All right then. As I can still record, at the time I worked with them, they started to, like Alibaba, they started to have their own trading company. They also started to have trade financial facilities. These tools are the solution or the facilities that they try to build and recap the big data of each manufacturer's their trade transactions to become a data for the credibility data references. Okay, so how about you? How about Buyhive? How do you do that? How do we make a solution to regain the credibility of the manufacturers and how the platform can help us, the buyers, to know which sellers are more trustworthy?
Okay, so let me mention here what is the biggest strength of Alibaba, and it is their biggest weakness. The biggest strength is they have the largest sales team ever in any media capital.
Indeed.
That is their weakness, because it's a sales-driven organization. So, and it is because their revenues come from advertising. Yes. People can pay to rank higher. People can pay to rate higher. Yes. And the sales team that is driving it, their incomes, more than 50% of their monthly incomes comes from commissions of sales of advertising. Now you think of yourself as a sales person in Alibaba. Are you motivated to give good suppliers, or are you motivated to get good revenues?
Of course, the revenue.
Exactly. So that's the biggest problem. And what we are doing is nobody, not a single supplier, is allowed to get on the platform because they pay us. We will not take money from any single supplier to come on there. It will be by invite. Invite will be given to suppliers that are selected by experienced sourcing professionals. And the ratings and the rankings only and only come because people complete their profiles. The suppliers will complete their profiles, and suppliers will do the quality services for the buyers. The better services they do, the ratings go up. The better profile they complete, the rating goes up. And that's our model. And see, step one, we select good suppliers. Step two, we make them complete their profiles or complete their information. It's not about paying. It's not about, they cannot pay anybody in my company. There is no model where you pay and rank. Even I cannot influence it. The way we build the algorithm, it is proof that there won't be any problems. Also, unlike Alibaba or global sources or other, we call them discovery platforms. What they do is you discover a supplier and you then work offline with them and try to make orders, etc., etc.
Yes.
We are not a discovery platform. We are a platform where you can finish ordering. You can order the product.
Yes.
You can order the product in bulk. You'll be able to order testing inspection services. We've tied up with Intertech to do the testing inspection services.
Very good.
You will be able to buy the due diligence, financial due diligence data from Dun & Bradstreet.
Like the credit background of the company.
Credit background of both buyers and suppliers. No
Very
platform, good. No Alibaba, no global sources, no made in China. Nobody gives buyers information. We will do credit check on buyers. We'll do credit check on suppliers.
Yep.
So we have that built in. The other thing is all these guys, for them, the credit checks, the background checks were an afterthought. So when you think about it from a programming point of view, you built something. You built a giant. Now you pull in some tools from here and there, but the tools are from, let's say it's the same Dun & Bradstreet. The difference is when I am building it, I am building it around the Dun & Bradstreet ecosystem. I am building it around the Intertech ecosystems. I can pull very much high quality data.
Okay.
They can pull high level just to influence the market. It is not in their motivation to help DNB or to help Intertech. In our case, we need DNB, we need Intertech, so we're building around them and we're making it so that the buyers that come to a platform, the suppliers that come to a platform have full transparency and there are no hidden costs of any kinds that are there. If we are finishing a transaction, we have put in 5%, they will know we have put in 5%. Yep. If we are completing a transaction, we put in 10%, they will know it is 10%, but it will be all transparent.
Okay, besides the online searching, using your engine, your search engine, your system suggestion, is there anything besides on the desktop platform? What can we do to promote ourselves? Because actually we cannot fly anymore. There's pandemic of the viruses, with all the trade show canceled, hundreds of millions dollars of trade or deals is off now. So what can we do?
Okay. So exactly this was our thought when we first started the platform. We did not think about the e-commerce that we did it later and we pivoted to that. This was what we started with. So the idea was, if you are, let's say you are in Hong Kong and you want to buy products out of the US. Normally you will go to a trade show or you will fly to the US, you'll meet the suppliers and you'll see, okay, this product, that product, whatever. You do all that, your research, and that is if you have time and money. Today, what we were thinking when we launched this, forget COVID, but without COVID, what we were thinking was, as the platforms are developing, the people on the platforms, selling on the platforms are new age techies who know how to manage their online stores. They know how to do their SEO, SEM, they know how to sell on the platforms, but they don't know how to source. At the same time, like I said in the first slide, there is a lot of people who have experience in sourcing who are getting free. So we would employ those on our freelance platform so we can recruit in the last 6 months, with only spending $500, we've recruited almost 1,000 freelancers with an average of 10 plus years of experience each in sourcing.
Wow.
Those people, and we can keep recruiting more as we go, but
Yes.
those we call Bs, they would do. So let's say, take an example. You are somebody who is experienced in, let's say, electronics. If you have sourced electronics for 10 years and somebody comes and asks you, oh, Michael, can you help me find more suppliers of these particular electronic products? You have all that information in your brain. What we
Yes.
provide is a platform where that information from the brain can be inputted into a format, into a form. That form can then become a sourcing report that the buyer can download, and you get paid for the amount of time that you spend. So it is by the day. So if you spend 2 days, you get paid for 2 days worth. If you spend 3 days, you get 3 days worth, and so on and so forth. So it's a platform which we build. And this is, so the e-commerce is for anybody who wants to just get the product, and he has sourcing people, but he says, okay, these quantities I can just buy online. Let's not mess with it. This is for somebody who said, I will do the buying decisions. You find me the good suppliers. I know I have sourcing people. I'll do the sourcing.
Very good. Well, which actually helps me because I do have a health e-commerce platform, and we are actually really tired of sourcing the right person, to do the buying for us.
It's hard and it is expensive.
Yes, it is. All right, sounds very interesting. We can use the bees to help us to do the sourcing, but still, there's a problem that in Chinese way, what we say is we buy a cow over the mountain. We never see the real thing. How we can do it with your platform and how your platform can automate the whole process and help us.
Yeah. So what we decided is we want to take liability and responsibility for you because you're trusting us, right? So if in case, in current scenario after COVID, people like companies like you and others want to control your headcount. You don't want to add too many people to your headcounts.
Yes.
You want the product, because if you don't have the product, how will you sell on your platform? So you need the product, but you don't want to add the headcount. And this is a problem for everybody. So what we did is we have a network of these freelancers. We have a process of document verification, factory inspection. We've tied up with Intertech. We've tied up with Intertech for production monitoring, and we have our own people for production monitoring. We also have tie-ups with Intertech for pre-shipment inspection, and we have our own team for pre-shipment inspection. And then we have partnerships with logistics companies. So we tie all that up in one, and we will do end-to-end. So basically you come and say, oh, I don't just want you to find me a supplier of the electronics, or I don't want the B to tell me the supplier, but get me 20,000 pieces delivered to my warehouse in Los Angeles by this date. What will be the fees, blah, blah, blah. Like a traditional agency, but completely transparently will do the transaction for you.
That's great. All right. So I do believe that most of the enterprises, especially e-commerce companies, are trying to reduce their headcount. And actually, because most of them are now work from home, we wanted to be more flexible and automate the whole process. I have find that I wanted to do a lot of trading, put product on my platform, and I eventually give up because I do believe that I need a team of 15 to run the whole agency. But with your platform, I believe we can save a lot of costs. We can do not have to verify the sourcing, traceability, and processing is very important too, because there's always the delivery process, shipping part, insurance, that kind of part. Parties are very troublesome. Lots of documents we have to handle. So using your platform, I believe it is something you wanted to improve and can do, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So see, Michael, I mean, as I said, our pain point, or we saw the pain point in the industry.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Like I explained, there's so many more people now selling on platforms.
Yes.
These guys, it is no point for them to add additional headcount. There is no point for them to put in resources in anything but sales. They should focus their energy on selling on the platform. So you have a platform, you should focus your energy on selling more, which means you need more product, which means you need more efficiency. We are here to be your sourcing arm. We are here to help you do that efficiently, effectively, while saving you costs, while reducing your headcounts, while improving your processes, giving you more analytics and information. And at the same time, because you're not traveling, we also save the carbon footprint.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. I do believe that most of the startup is trying to pinpoint and break through the traditional way using technology. Okay, now I want to know why you choose Hong Kong to be your base to run your Buyhive. Secondly is how StartMeUp helped you out to start your company in Hong Kong. I do know you have been in Asia for 20 years, very familiar with different markets, especially previous company was the headquarters in Hong Kong. But certainly the government has given you some help on how you set up, and this is why you choose Hong Kong, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are multiple reasons for choosing Hong Kong.
Yes.
First and foremost is the fact that Hong Kong, no matter what happens right now politically, business-wise, Hong Kong is amazingly poised to be the center of Asia, not center of, or not the gateway to China. I always call Hong Kong is the gateway to Asia.
Yes.
So the sourcing destinations, when people are going to move from China, where do they move? They move to Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, India. All these countries are in a 5-hour flight radius from Hong Kong.
Yes.
Okay. Any of these countries. Plus, in Hong Kong, you got the mindset and you got the people who are entrepreneurial, who are business minded, and all the sourcing heads or the sourcing brains are in Hong Kong. So that's why when we look at sourcing as a solution for the world, Hong Kong is a destination, I think. Okay. Right. Anywhere we want to do, the basic skills of sourcing are available in Hong Kong. So that's why Hong Kong was the first choice to do it. Of course, all the 3 founders, we've all spent more than 10 years in Hong Kong each, and we like Hong Kong. Government of Hong Kong, especially InvestHK, StartMeUp HK, InvestHK teams have been amazing all through our journey. They've helped us understand the tax benefits. See, we broke even in the first 4 months of the business, okay? Wow. In between COVID, we broke even in 4 months. We made profits in 7 figures US. Wow. But because of the structural guidance from InvestHK and stuff, we are able to invest it back. We are able to put it in such a way that we will invest it all back into giving jobs in Hong Kong, creating employments in Hong Kong. And actually InvestHK has worked hand in hand with us, guiding us what to do, what people to talk to, which organizations to work with, etc., etc. So they've been amazingly helpful. Frankly, I have not raised a single penny from the market. Everything has been our investment and the revenues that we got from the sales to put back into it. But InvestHK helped us find partners who will help us do our taxation, who did the setup of the company, who help us plan the future, etc., etc. So they've been really helpful. Our legal advisors also came through the guidance from InvestHK. Because of them, we are able to set up a company in US as well. Now we have Buyhive Hong Kong and we have Buyhive USA, both of them set up, and both of them are integrated. So we've been very, very actively working with InvestHK to kind of grow the business. And I hope we'll keep working with them and we'll help them create more jobs in Hong Kong.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Thank you for coming to our show. And I really appreciated your time and the effort invested in Hong Kong and bring us a lot of opportunities.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
試諗下，你嘅健康親子生活只需要一個網站就可以搞掂，係幾正嘅事。正式同你介紹 So Healthy 健康親子台。對於父母，只要有 Facebook 就可以為你嘅仔女揾到教練或者導師。 除此之外，父母仲可以透過我哋嘅網站了解更加多嘅育兒資訊同埋知識，令你成為更優秀嘅父母。我哋都歡迎父母投稿成為父母 blogger，分享自己嘅育兒經驗，賺多啲私己錢。你仲可以透過我哋嘅網站，利用區域嚟搜尋資料，全港18區樣樣都有㗎。想了解更加多，就記得 like 我哋 So Healthy 健康親子台啦。